Hello and welcome back to my channel. A while back I was having this conversation with someone in my life about this situation that I was trying to figure out. And this person told me only one sentence. They said, Aliena, you deserve to be happy. And that's a pretty normal thing that one would say to someone else or hear from someone, nothing groundbreaking at all. But for the first time ever, I think in my entire life, or that I can consciously remember, I felt like I actually heard that sentence. But not only in my mind, because only hearing it in your mind that mostly doesn't sustain. I felt like I really felt it on a deeper level. And since that conversation, this one sentence is continuously at the back of my mind and has affected so many decisions and situations in my life in a good way. And so today I wanted to share some of my realizations that I've been having with this topic, because I don't think I would have changed my ways the way I did if this person didn't tell me this one sentence. So maybe I can be that person for someone watching. So you deserve to be happy. This is a sentence that is thrown around a lot. Many of us know this, all of us have heard it before, but for some reason, oftentimes we don't manage to take the actions and decisions in our life that actually make us feel good and happy. We stay in situations or with people that don't make us feel good because something doesn't allow us to leave or makes us stay. But what is that and where does it come from? I wanted to start by understanding why this is something that is so difficult for so many of us. And of course, it is always impossible to generalize something like this because everyone has a different life and different situations they're going through. But I figured there has to be a deeper reason or a core reason why this is the case, because it is something that so many of us struggle with, irrelevant of the exact situation or scenario in someone's life. I personally believe that a lot of it comes from not knowing your worth. If you or I am not able to make deliberate decisions in my life that make me feel good, or even continuously go into situations that actually harm me and my well-being, that has to mean that something in me doesn't think that I'm worthy of living a good and happy life. So when I was thinking about this, I did some research and I stumbled upon the work of Marissa Peer. And she basically really confirms this. If you've never heard of her, she is a speaker and an author, but mainly a therapist. And she has worked with all kinds of people. And with all of her clients, all of them who felt some sort of unhappiness or confusion or sadness or anything in that direction, when she went to the core with this person or these people of why they were feeling the way they were, why these emotions were there, all of them fundamentally thought that they are not enough. So with her idea, and I really think a lot of this is true, we actually all walk around fundamentally thinking that we are not enough, even if we're not aware of it on a conscious level. I think this topic in itself is very complex and it's difficult to put anything in a box because there are just so many things that can cause this. It can be your environment, childhood, friends, family, parents, like so many different things can play a role in this. But here are just 4 things that help me remind myself of the fact that I'm worthy of happiness. Number 1, having faith in something. I think for many of us, our existence in itself is already confusing, and with that I mean human existence. And this might sound very deep and very dramatic, but I think that's where some of the main causes lie. We don't understand what this is, meaning life in general. We start feeling confused and lost with what we're supposed to do here. Then we go around looking for purpose in life, and oftentimes when you spiral in that too much, I feel like a lot of people end up in a place where they just think they're 1 in 8 billion people and all of this anyway doesn't make any sense. So who are they to be happy? So to not fall into that cycle too much, for me, it's really important to have faith. I feel like that helps a lot. And it can be faith in anything. That can be different for everyone. It really doesn't matter in the end. It can be religious, it can be spiritual, or it can have nothing to do with any of that. But then you still have faith in you and your worthiness as a human being. I think losing faith in us as humans and in the world can cause exactly this, thinking that you are not worthy of happiness. Who would even notice if you weren't happy? We are so many people, you're just a little speck in the universe, not worthy of anything, and your life doesn't even matter. Those kind of thoughts, I think, can cause exactly that, and then end up kind of pushing us into a direction where we start making decisions that actually cause exactly that. Number two, reminding myself that everyone is responsible for their own happiness. I think a lot of the times we don't allow ourselves to feel really happy because the people around us are not, and that can be really difficult, especially with close relationships. If your mother or partner or best friend are in a bad place, you might feel like you're not allowed to feel differently because there is this guilt of, I don't know, not wanting to leave them behind, I guess, and also kind of feeling like if they're not allowed to be happy, then who am I to feel differently? On top of that, and that is something that Marissa Peer also really emphasizes, a lot of us don't grow up in a household or in an environment where we are specifically taught that we deserve to be happy. And so if our own family, or more specifically our own parents, don't believe that about us, then who are we to believe differently? And that can also cause a lot of this and be really hard to get out of. There, I just really try to remind myself that everyone is responsible for their own happiness and for their own life. And just because people around me aren't taking decisions in their life that would make them feel better doesn't mean that I also have to stay in that place, and also that you are only able to give if you have. So ultimately, if I start creating a life that I feel better with, and I start making decisions that make me feel better, and I start getting to know myself more, even if the people around me aren't doing that, that will benefit everyone around me, because I will also be in a place where I can give more. And the people who really don't want you to be happy and don't want you to live a good life just shouldn't be in your life. Really becoming aware of my boundaries and standards. A big part of this is being with people who treat you in a way that is actually not okay, and kind of not leaving that situation because the fear of abandonment or rejection or whatever it is in that moment becomes louder than the desire to feel free and happy. For me as well, I do that a lot. And lately I've been trying to really observe the relationships in my life and the things that are happening while continuously reminding myself I deserve to be happy. And then you start seeing yourself continuously going into situations that actually don't feel good. And once I started having less and less tolerance for behaviors in my life and in relationships that actually don't make me feel good, I feel like I was able to feel more and more that I deserve to be happy because I wasn't continuously going in situations that were showing me otherwise. Creating more future goals and dreams. Sometimes I feel an extreme clarity in my life on where I want to go and what I want to achieve. And sometimes it gets kind of foggy. I think that's a normal thing. But oftentimes the fogginess comes from thinking that certain things are not achievable for me. So I would rather not think about them or not imagine them than thinking in that moment that they will anyway never come true. Now I try to tell myself, if happiness is something that I'm allowed to have, what kind of life would I want to live? And then I start seeing what my imagination comes up with, and oftentimes the ideas are way more crazy and way more exciting and way more beautiful than the ideas that I allow myself to have in my normal kind of state. I think all of this is so important, and imagination is so important, because when you really allow yourself to see what kind of life you want to live, I feel like for me that gives me so much confidence to get rid of any kind of situations in my life that are here right now that don't fit into that vision of what I want to have in the future. I think all of this takes time and patience, because we kind of live in an environment and in a society where we are not really taught this, and so it really takes a lot to kind of retrain the brain there. But I think some of these things can really create very big results, and sometimes maybe even bigger than we want to allow ourselves to see, because nobody wants to feel like they are the cause for their own unhappiness. It's easier to point fingers, and while that might be the case sometimes, how much is it actually true, and how much do we just not want to see? I'm talking to myself here, by the way, as well. This video is just a big reminder to everyone out there, and also to myself, that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you are dealing with in your life, at the end of the day, you deserve to be happy. That means that you don't have to do anything to prove that right or to earn that right. It is something that you just simply have. By existing and breathing, you have already earned that right. That means that you deserve to be with people who make you happy. You deserve to focus on things that make you happy. You deserve to eat what makes you happy. You deserve to be in places that make you happy. You deserve to love who makes you happy. All of it. You deserve to be happy. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That really helps me out a lot. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a beautiful morning or afternoon or evening, and I hope to see you in my next video.